Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be working with evaluating functions of all types, but we're specifically going to be working with algebraically in this video. In the next video I'm going to show you how to do it graphically. So algebraically, what's going to happen with evaluating functions is that you're always going to be given a function that's going to ask you to find f of some number, or h of some number, or g of some number. So whenever it says find f of -8. So what's going to happen is we're going to take -8 and we're going to plug it in everywhere that we see an x. So -8 is going to go everywhere in those blanks. So let's rewrite it. F of -8 equals, and I'm going to plug in -8 with parentheses. So -8 squared minus 3 times -8. All right, of course, we can do this in our head. So let's just go ahead and do it in our head. F of -8 equals 8 squared is 64, so -8 squared is also 64. -3 times -8 is going to be positive 24. So we're going to do 64 plus 24, and we will get that f of -8 equals 6 plus 2, that's going to be 8, so we're going to get 88. Not so bad, right? Okay, so let's try out another one. And we're going to do the same thing. Since we're finding g of 3, that means everywhere that I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 3. Okay, so let's do this. G of 3 equals the square root of 3 squared plus 1. All right, we know that 3 squared is 9, so it's going to be 9 plus 1 inside of the radical. And now we're just going to simplify. 9 plus 1 is 10, so g of 3 is going to be equal to the square root of 10. Okay, let's try another one. This one is a little bit more complicated. We're trying to find p of t minus 2. So everywhere that I see a t, I'm going to put parentheses t minus 2. So let's do p of t minus 2. So here's my first t. I'm going to put parentheses t minus 2, and then it's just going to be minus 5. This one is going to take a little bit more solving because we do need to distribute. Since I'm trying to find p of t minus 2, I'm just going to leave that over here because that's what I'm trying to figure out what it is. So 4 times t is going to be 4t, and then 4 times -2 is going to be -8, and then we have minus 5 on the end. So simplifying just a little bit further, we're going to have 4t, and we're combining our like terms. So -8 minus 5 is going to be -13. Okay, let's do another one. In this one, we have h of 1. So everywhere that I see a v, I'm going to plug in a 1. So let's start here. H of 1 equals 2, absolute value of 1 minus 3. Plus 1. So let's start with the absolute value on the inside. 2 absolute value of 1 minus 3 is -2, and then plus 1 on the end. Absolute value takes anything that's negative and makes it positive. So we're going to have 2 times positive 2, because this is actually going to become positive. That's what the absolute value does. And then plus 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So then plus 1 is going to be 5. So that means that h of 1 is equal to 5. All right, doing another one. This one, we are given 2 different functions. So the first one we're given is f of x. And looking over, we're going to do f of 1. So anywhere that I see an x, I'm going to put in a 1. And then we also have a g. So g of -2. Anywhere that I see a y, I'm going to put in a -2. So using this logic, let's first figure out what f of 1 is. So it's 1 squared minus 1. 1 squared is just 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So f of 1 is 0. Now let's figure out what g of -2 is. So g of -2, I'm plugging in -2 right here and right here. So it's going to be 2 times -2. 2 times -2 is -4, so that means that g of -2 is -4. Now that I have these values, I can plug them into my formula at the end. I want to find 2 times f of 1 minus 3 times g of negative 2. So I'm just going to plug in these values. 2 times f of 1 is 0, minus 3 times g of negative 2 is negative 4. And now we can simplify. 2 times 0 is 0, and negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So that means that 2 times f of 1 minus 3 times g of negative 2 is going to be equal to positive 12. Okay, we're going to do another one. So we have f and g again, and here we're doing f of 2, so anywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 2. And for g, I have g of negative 1, so anywhere that I see a y, I'm going to plug in a negative 1. All right, let's first start off by finding f of 2. So we're going to plug in 2 right here, so 4 times 2 minus 2. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 2 is 6, so f of 2 is 6. And then for g of negative 1, we're going to do 2 absolute value of negative 1 minus 1. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And again, the absolute value takes anything that's negative and makes it positive. So this is 2 times positive 2. And that means that g of negative 1 is 4. Okay, so now that we have those two values, we can plug them in. Solving for 1/2 f of 2 plus 3g of negative 1. So we're going to have 1/2 f of 2 is 6. G of negative 1 is 4. So we're going to have 1/2 times 6, that's just 6 divided by 2, so it's going to be 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So our answer is going to be 3 plus 12, which is 15. If I was going a little bit fast in this video, please feel free to rewind and slow it down a little bit, and you should be good to go. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for our next video about doing it graphically. Goodbye.